So now we're going to go into the part where we start talking about stuff that's specific to my engineering class. If you're in my science class, you don't need to watch these videos. This is specifically for engineering because they have a couple of more objects and unique parts of their class. Starting with materials. Now, they have an engineering notebook very similar to the engineering or the lab notebooks discussed before. So there's not too much difference there, except there's a lot more specificity on what happens there and how it is written in, and I will be checking for that, which I will go over in a later video when we go just over the engineering notebook. I do also want to point out that Engineering 3 will be receiving a kit. This is at no cost to the student. It's going to be equipment from the school, and once I get everything priced out, and you're going to sign a contract, signifying and checking out the equipment, and if the equipment is damaged, you'll be responsible for it. The equipment will include a Parrot Mambo drone. It will include a Circuit Playground Express. It will include an Arduino, and then some materials to help you use those pieces of equipment and those computer software, and help you practice and get better with this stuff. Moving on to the programs and websites, we have your typical Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and Remind. You are not required to use K-12 for engineering. All your videos are going to be found on the YouTube channel. Instead, you will be using Khan Academy. I have for Engineering 1, it's going to be mainly focused on physics, and it's going to be focused on electrical engineering. Those are the videos that you can watch. The other required programs that you're going to use, or in this case, specific websites. When we get to it, it's going to be a little bit later on in the year, but you'll be using two things. One, you'll be using Tinkercad, and you'll be using it for two reasons. You're going to use it to design your own 3D printed pieces, like shown here, and you're going to use it to design some circuits, as you can see over here. The other type of program that we are going to use is going to be MakeCode. This is going to be towards the end of the year when we get into computer programming, and it's a simple drag and drop program, and we'll be using it to kind of go over sensors, go over different things, and understand like the process and how to put kind of the very basics of code and how we go over sensors. And there's an example. I should probably have done that a lot slower. Okay, so that's Engineering 1. Engineering 2, on the other hand, is going to be focusing on Solid Professor and Autodesk Fusion 360. Now, Solid Professor is going to be your main site where you find your educational videos. It's going to be the equivalent to K-12. Most of your videos are going to come through here. For example, the first thing we're going to go over in class is going to be spatial visualization.
Spatial visualization, which can be defined.
And you'll be kind of working your way through these lessons. This is going to be what you do at home, is watching these videos. And then when you get to class, you're going to be doing kind of the assignments attached to those videos. So that is Engineering 2. And Fusion 360 is the program that it's going to teach you to use. Engineering 3 is the big one. There's a lot going on here because Engineering 3 takes everything we learned in the past and builds upon it. So you're going to use Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Solid Professor specifically for the Arduino, Autodesk Fusion 360 for when you're designing your projects, Adafruit MakeCode for when you're designing your projects, and you're also going to be doing more advanced functions than Engineering 1 students, Workbench, which you are going to use to program your drones. So if we go here and recreate a new Blocky program, and we go into devices, you can actually program your drone. So when we start going over programming, we're going to actually start using the drone to program first as a way to get our feet wet. You will also be using the Arduino programming environment every now and then. You could use it for your projects, and we will going over that in a little bit more details after we get comfortable with the Circuit Playground Express, because the Arduino allows a little bit more flexibility because you literally build it on and you don't have to have every little sensor, and you can make much smaller projects using Arduinos depending which one you use. Next thing I want to talk about is Kitty Hawk. Now this is going to be all drone stuff for the next part. You're also going to be using Kitty Hawk. Kitty Hawk is your flight control program. It's going to be how you get permission to fly. when you're flying outside, I'm going to teach you guys how you get permission, how you use it, and it'll also give you information such as weather, where you can fly, how you get permissions, and all that. I want you as students to get comfortable with both the app and the website. Website makes it a little bit easier to use. The app, though, is when you're out in the middle of nowhere or you're got this certain urge to fly and you have your drone with you, you can use the app to get permission, especially since the school is in a restricted area. After Kitty Hawk, let's talk about Free Flight Mini. It's the app that's tied to the parent Mambos. It's what you're going to use to control your drone while flying, since we do not have remotes for everybody, but you can just use your phone as a remote. They pair up with any of the Mambos. They even pair up with a couple of other things besides the Mambos, like the one I have in the back. Even though it looks like a Mambo, it's actually the precursor to the Mambo, and it also works with that. So use Workbench if you want to make your drone fly by itself, and use the Free Flight Mini when you want to control it. So you'll be using that as well.